What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer. Looks like there's some new card announcements. There's a lot, and I may end up doing a bunch of videos today just trying to get all the news that some of I missed. There's a lot of one-of cards, so I don't usually pay attention to those too much until they're like released, of course. This is what I'm going to do for this video, right? There's like 6 new heroic cards. I didn't know what these cards did, although I think there's one banned Exceed monster that's really good. So we'll go over that, but new stuff first, and then I'm going to go over every other heroic card that exists. I think there's 18, and if they stink, I'll go through them quickly. I don't like to make these videos too long, but we'll go ahead and get right into it. I've briefly looked at these. I understand them a little more, so I'll try to explain the best I can here. But here's Heroic Challenger Knuckle Knife. This is a level 1 Earth, 600 attack, 200 defense. And you can only use these 2 effects once per turn. If you control a non-level 1 heroic monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. I looked, there's only 2 other level 1s, and I don't even know if they're good. I'll look in a moment, but it seems like this is going to be a very, very easy effect to get off, right? But the cool thing is that if the second effect, if this card is normal or special summon, so it doesn't really matter technically, but you're probably always going to be special summoning this. But you can target one other warrior monster you control. The level of this card becomes the level, and vice versa. So you can either make 2 level 1s or 2 level 4s, which is really important for the archetype. And obviously, that's just good. That's just like really great level manipulation. You can't declare attacks the turn you activate this effect except with Exceed monsters, but the whole archetype is based on that. So, and you'll see more and more that it's about like having really low life points with these like all or nothing battle type extra deck monsters. Main thing here, this card is good. Like this is a great card for the archetype, right? Not saying that this is meta, but I hate judging cards whether or not they'll be meta or not. Just is the card good is all I care about, really. But this is Heroic Challenger Morningstar. This is a level 4 Earth. And you can only use the following effects of this card's name once per turn, and there's 3 effects here. If you control 2 or more warrior monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add a heroic spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And if your life points is 500 or lower while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, but its effects are negated. Now, this sounds like an anime effect, but one of the Exceed monsters makes it so you only have 500 life points left. It's kind of like a wing dragon or raw type of thing. This archetype is strange to me. It's it's battle phase based, so it feels like War Rocks, but with an extra deck. And it's funny that they're Earth too, so it really feels that way. Maybe they're supposed to be together. The more I think about it, it feels like that's what they're angling towards. But that may be a video for another time. But overall, this card is pretty decent, especially because, again, this one also has normal or special summon. Like I really don't like I really don't like the idea of having to have 2 or more warrior monsters to special summon it. Like that seems like a really over the top, but you still get to add the heroic spell. And the great thing is basically like, just comboing off these new cards, you can normal summon this, add the heroic spell or trap, and I'll just preview that real quickly. Basically, you get to add a heroic monster from your deck to your hand. We'll go over the other effect in a second, meaning that you can add the level 1, target the 4, they both become 4s, and then you can go into the rank 4, so it's very nice. Like this is just a bonus effect, really, which is a good thing, and it's not like the main thing. This is Heroic Champion Cleave Soulish, 2,500 attack, 2,000 defense, and then you can only use the second and third effects of this card once per turn. First one being your opponent cannot target your monsters for attacks except this card. Okay, and then during your main phase, you can pay life points. So you only have 500 life points remaining, like I just talked about. There's like, it's very easy to do that. You don't have to like specifically try to strategically give yourself 500 life points. At the start of this turn's battle phase, you can target the attack of one of your, or double the attack of one of your monsters. Jeez Louise. So this becomes 5,000 right off the bat. And then when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. This card gains attack equal to the targeted attack until the end of this turn, which stinks because shouldn't it be when you declare an attack or like it should just be both, because unless your opponent just doesn't read, which is sometimes the case in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, okay, like your opponent's just not going to trigger this effect. Like you're just going to have a 5,000 attack monster that you spent 95% of your life points on, which to me doesn't make any sense. I don't think this card is good, so all right. And it sucks because it seems like all the new support is based around that specific interaction. Yeah, I don't like it personally. This is Heroic Champion Yarung Rapier. I'm sure this card's name will not be that in the TCG, but you can only use the second and third effects of this card name once per turn. Each time, each turn, the first time your warrior monster would be destroyed by battle or card effects, it is not destroyed. All right. You can attach 2 materials from this card, then target a level or rank 4 monster in your graveyard. It's a pretty unique effect. Special summon it, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to that monster's original attack. Again, this is all battle phase based. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can gain life points equal to half of its attack. Well, that's kind of neat, I suppose. But again, it's like the whole archetype, and it's like this too for that Exo Sister archetype. It's like it's all based on your opponent not playing like into these cards, which anytime you play a good or half decent player, they're not going to do that, right? This is Heroic Envoy. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn. You can add a heroic monster like I talked about earlier. Then if your life points are 500 or lower, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Then target a heroic card in your graveyard, add it to your hand, which is awesome. I mean, that's great. The monsters that counts for, and maybe the spells and traps are good too. We'll look at that in just a second. So yeah, that's all the new support for heroic. So what else is there? Like, what does this card actually do? Or what is this archetype? Are there any other good cards in it? We'll see. This is Heroic Advance. This is a trap card. When a face-up heroic monster you control is targeted for an attack. Okay, that stinks. We can just move on. Heroic Challenger, Ambush Soldier. This is a level 1. It doesn't look like it has any stats, although the cool thing is it's 0/0, so it works with Puree Res Map, just off the top of my head. Basically, okay, so during your standby phase, you contribute this card. Special summon up to 2 Heroic Challenger monsters from your hand and or graveyard. This should be from the deck. Like, is this archetype so good where that like just can't happen? Time Thieves have that. Okay, and then let's see. When you do, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Make all Heroic Challenger monsters you control become level 1. That's decent because the rank 1's just okay. It doesn't restrict you, so you can technically go into any level 1 that you want to, but I don't know. This just seems so average. That card's okay. Like, do you want to use your normal summon on it? Maybe. Especially because these are all based on special summoning themselves, so technically could be pretty good. When you start detaching materials too, like later in the turn, maybe you want to take this out. This one will... It's on the okay list, right? Heroic Challenger Assault Halberd. This is a level 4. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. Win this card, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen nearly enough where you can use this effect, right? Going first on turn 0, this card's a total brick in your hand. And are you going to waste one of your side deck cards on this? No way, and at least not to me. This is Heroic Challenger Clasp Sword. When this card is special summoned by the effect of a Heroic Challenger monsters, you can add 1 Heroic Challenger monster from your deck to your hand. The new ones do not special summon, right? It doesn't look like it. So this could be okay, but as of right now, this is the only way to do that. So we'll see if there's any other cards. Okay, it feels so dependent on having certain cards in your hands. But this is Heroic Challenger Double Lance. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon 1 Heroic Challenger Double Lance from your hand or graveyard in face-up defense position. It's cool. I will say I do appreciate that it is from the hand or graveyard. Like, almost all of them have that. This card cannot be used as synchro material. Fair enough. This card cannot be used as XE material except for the XE summon of a warrior-type monster. This card is so restrictive. It almost feels like it's not worth it to me. It's decent too. This is the most decent archetype I've ever seen in my life, right? This is Heroic Challenger Extra Sword. An Exceed monster that was special summoned using this card as material gains its effect. It gains 1,000 attack. That's obviously so wishy-washy. Never use it. If this card attacks a defense position monster before damage calculation, you can destroy that monster. If there's a way to like force your opponent into defense position, maybe that'd be pretty cool, but otherwise pretty useless. Once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can target 1 heroic monster you control, except this card. This card gains attack. Okay, useless. Heroic Challenger Sword Shield. During either player's turn, if you control a face-up heroic monster, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. For the rest of this turn, you take no battle damage, and they can't be destroyed by battle. Pretty useless, too. Heroic Challenger Thousand Blades. Once per turn, if this card is in attack position, You can discard one heroic card. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except heroic monsters. Also, special summon one heroic monster from your deck. Okay, and if you do, change this card to defense position. When you take damage while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card in attack position. Okay, so this card is good. Like, this is the best card in the archetype for sure, right? Lets you discard, especially because all the other ones, you know, special summon from the graveyard. You're special summoning from the deck, triggering a bunch of effects, whatever the case may be. So, thumbs up. I like that card a lot. Heroic Challenger Warhammer. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard. Okay, don't need to know anything else. And it looks like it's a high-level monster, too, that doesn't special... Well, I guess theoretically this one's special summons from the hand, but... I mean, is it really that great? Gains attack equal. So it's like kind of like a mini main deck boss monster, but it's not turning my head. This is Heroic Champion Excalibur. Once per turn, you can attach 2 materials from this card. This card gains attack equal blah, 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 blah. That's just like a... it just doubles its attack to like 4,000. It's just okay. 2 level 4 warrior monsters once per turn. When a level 4 lower monster is special summoned to your opponent's side of the field, you can attach 1 material from this card, destroy that special summoned monster. Oh, wait, it's not a quick effect? Or is it? No, it has to be a quick effect. It's like a trigger effect. That's all right. That's certainly pretty decent. I mean, unfortunately, it's once per turn, so it's like you would always go into whatever the Nightmare or something like that card does. I think it flips it face down, so it's kind of cool that this destroys it, but nah. That would, I mean, obviously within archetype, yeah, you would probably want to use this, so cool, I suppose. This is 3 level 4 warrior monsters, once per turn during either player's turn. When a trap card is activated, all right, I mean, maybe has a 1-up, but 3 level 4s? That's a little steep, in my opinion. This is Heroic Chance. Target 1 face-up heroic monster you control, double its attack. Lame. Heroic Gift. If your opponent's life points are 2,000 or less, make their life points 8,000, and if you do, draw 2 cards. Big brain stuff here. That's just silly. Okay, this is Heroic Retribution Sword. Target 1 face-up heroic monster you control. Equip this card to that target. This is a trap equip card. It's okay, actually, though. I mean, I think I just read that silently. Target a face-up heroic monster you control. Equip it to this card. At all battle damage you take from battles involving the equipped monster is also inflicted to your opponent. After damage calculation, destroy any opponent's monster that battled the equipped monster. And then this is the one that's banned, right? Because if it has 5 materials, your opponent can't normal special summon, and this card will never come off. It'd be interesting if they brought this back and it only took heroic monsters and this was the boss monster, but I think this card's just a little too good, right? Like, it's just... we can't have this card back in, like, the game. It's just insane. So, yeah, I mean, overall, this archetype's all right, but it's way too battle phase, based. Like, you're just not going to win duels because your opponent's just going to put up too many negates against you. And clearly you can't do anything other than do some damage later on in the turn, which isn't going to be good enough, but it's heading in the right direction, which you got to appreciate. So maybe I'm completely wrong. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. But other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.